So often with nervous system dysregulation, we find that we are stuck in certain states and we can't find our way home to regulation. So we can be stuck in anxiety, anger, agitation and feel wound up, or we can be stuck down in shame and feel hopeless and collapsed. Today's concept will help you find your way home again quickly, and it's from a teaching called the second arrow. So imagine that you are walking along in the forest and you are shot by an arrow in the arm. And at first you start to feel anxious. You worry about how you'll make it home, if you might lose a lot of blood, if it could become infected. You find that you're extremely worried about your fate and making it home. Then you turn on yourself. And this is a little bit like being shot with a second arrow. So you start to say, I shouldn't have been here. I should have been more vigilant and paid more attention. How could I have let this happen to myself? So you can imagine that that second arrow shooting you in the same spot in the arm would create a lot more pain. And we can understand this analogy and how it relates to our nervous system through an equation that we call suffering equals pain times resistance. So let's imagine that you experience something painful, highly painful. There's 10 units of pain. It could be childbirth. It could be a breakup. You could lose somebody that you really care about. Now let's say your resistance to this is only 1 out of 10 or 1 unit. So for instance, through childbirth, there's the pain, but you know that your baby is getting closer with each contraction. And so you're able to let those contractions move through you like waves. Or you might find that through the breakup, that this is something that you know is the best thing for you and for your ex-partner. So when we add those together, if we had 10 units of pain and 1 unit of resistance, that would equal 10 units of suffering. But on the other hand, if we have 10 units of pain and we have 10 units of resistance, where we might feel highly anxious about what's happening, we might blame ourselves and say that it's our fault that the relationship's ended. We'll always be alone. It just doesn't work out for us. And we continue to add layer upon layer here until we have 10 units of resistance to the pain that we're feeling. We can end up with 100 units of suffering. And often with dysregulation, this is what amplifies things. So when we experience something painful, we blame ourselves. We can look at this when we move into the freeze state, where we didn't take action, where we didn't speak up, because we moved into the state of immobilization, which helps to keep us safe. And so often what prolongs the pain and the suffering is when we blame ourselves. So we can't heal from that first arrow, from the painful event, until we remove and take out the second arrow. And when we do that, when we stop blaming ourselves, when we stop adding that second layer in that creates more suffering, we then tend to this place. And this is where growth and transformation can truly happen. This is where we heal. And it's also what can lead to a more meaningful and purposeful life.